This is the VO Life. Positive conversations about living the voiceover life. Insight into the business and day-to-day grind of being a regular Joe VO. From the humble beginnings to the finally hitting a new level to getting that first big client. It's all about that VO life. Here's your host, Troy Holden.
Hey, and welcome back to the VO Life. All of you out there chasing the dream and trying to find your way through. Well, today we have a treat for you. We have some people that can actually help you versus what you're trying to do on our page and in our group, where you've got all these amateurs and people that don't really know what they're doing, trying to help you, but they're trying. But these two folks can really help you. Please welcome the voiceover gurus. It's JJ Wilson and Linda Bruno. There they are.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
I love it. Crowd noise.
I gave JJ this little box. And what does it do, JJ? Press the different things.
Applause.
Crickets.
That's what the directors do when they direct me. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like that one. I needed that one yesterday when you called me.
JJ tells a lot of like dad jokes, so I thought that shot would be good for him.
Yesterday and told him a few.
And you can use it in the workout tomorrow night.
Fits like a glove.
That joke's disgusting. Thank you for having us on.
I'm just glad that you guys are here. And let me set the table for everybody listening.
Oh, good. Are we going to eat while we do the show?
Well, you and I will meet up and eat later. Why not?
Good.
We're close enough.
Okay.
We have known each other for, I guess, a little over a year, and I started on my path a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, and this is where I landed to get good formal training. So that's why they're here, because I want them to be able to share with you today, whether you just got in and you want to learn about the industry. There's some free things that you might be able to get from their site, but then as you get ready to learn, there are workshops and coaching, and I want them to explain the different steps to you from their viewpoint on where you may be and where you need to go, and that you don't need to jump on a platform. You don't need to go out there and start doing stuff before you get training. Please don't do that. And I think you'll hear that today.
Yeah.
So if we kind of start with Linda, and I won't go into all the career accolades and the things that you guys have done, because if people really want to know, they should go listen to some of the other interviews you've done on Middle Class VO podcast, even on some of your early podcasts where you talked more about your careers.
Right.
What I want them to hear today is what you can do for them and what you offer in your teaching. So, Linda, if you'll just kind of start with what's the approach?
So the foundation of the voiceover gurus has always been about honesty and transparency about the voiceover business.
Amen.
I have a physical studio here on Long Island in New York, and I would have people come to my studio very frustrated because they would go to these, in 6 weeks, you're going to become a voice actor, and they would make demos, and then they'd come to me and say, I paid $5,000 and I have this crappy demo and now I don't know what to do. And it was killing me because I was like, people are like buying into the glamour of the voiceover industry. So at that point I called JJ and I was like, I'm sick of this. Are you sick of this? And he was like, I'm sick of this. Right. So we said, we love to coach. It's a passion. We're obviously still working voice actors, but we love to fit in the coaching. And our approach is a very honest one for you. Nothing is formulaic. Nothing is like step 1, step 2, step 3. And I know everybody loves to have these steps, but you are a unique individual. Your talent, you could have a foundation in acting. You could have been in radio. Your background is going to affect your learning process with us. So we don't make any promises of the timeline, but it's up to you and the hard work you want to put into it.
Exactly right. Exactly.
That's pretty much the foundation of us and why we are here doing what we're doing.
Yes.
Good point. And JJ, your job is to tell Linda she's right. And
yes.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. And yes, I'd love to do that for you, ma'am.
JJ doesn't speak much, though. We know this.
No. The beauty of this is, in my opinion, when you progress up and you're ready to do workouts, is that you're getting these 2 different approaches. And that was what I really appreciated. The constructive things you may get in one direction may not be what the other person is thinking. I appreciate the fact it's 2 coaches for one. So I see that as a big advantage. And when people are ready to progress to a workout, I think they will too. But how long do they need to wait to be in a workout? What do they need to do first?
I don't think they need to wait at all. If they want to
There
try
you
a
go.
voiceover, I think that's the
Yes.
most outstanding place to start is, how much is the workout? 50, 60,
$60,
60 bucks. Just
Yeah.
come on board. Let us
Yeah.
send you a copy, let you read.
Right.
And, you know, either you'll fall immediately in love with it or go, oh my God, I can't take the pressure.
Right.
And, you know, you'll never come back. But that's what I always recommend to people is to try one workout, see what it's like, see what it is we do.
Yeah.
And
It's not a
get
huge
few tips.
investment.
No, it's not a huge investment. And, you know, like when you came in to the class, you know, you came, I think it was a workout the first time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know, introduced yourself, and I heard this Southern warm accent, and I went, ooh, can you get rid of that? And you said, nope. And I went, okay. And then I heard you read a script, and you had been working for, you know, 6 months or so before that. So you had a lot going for you already. You're a great reader. You interpret well. We realized all that the first night. And then what's great about teaching with Linda is that I learn from every class and every workout.
Me too.
I do things that people have done on our workouts that it was their first night there.
Right.
And I go, damn, I never would have read that way. But next time I'm going to try it. But in your case, you just took off. The accent is fantastic. It warms up a room, your reads. And
you make it work, Troy.
You make it work. Now,
Well,
on the
thank you.
flip side of that, we have the people who start and are in a huge hurry, and but they put the work in. And in the last couple of days, I just finished up 2 demos, and these people really worked hard. And what's fun is I keep all their files from when they start till now. And then I unload all the files into Pro Tools to start working on a demo. And my God, the ones from when they started, I just threw in the trash. But the ones from now are just like, it clicked somewhere along the way.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess I'm silly. I have a big heart. I still enjoy every minute of what I do during the day.
Right.
And I just get happier than heck. I called one of the students before she even got the demo. And I said, you are going to love this, especially the word this and this word and that and the music. And I just went on. I was really, truly excited for her.
Yeah, that's fun.
But
and the thing I tell people when I'm prepping them about these workouts or when they ask me is that if you'll pay attention to the other 5, you're getting 6 times the coaching that you would have gotten anywhere else.
Exactly
great
right.
point.
You have to pay attention.
Don't you
and
love
drink
it when the
all
5th
in.
guy doesn't do anything that you said to the first 4?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You kind of go,
I've noticed that a few times.
thanks for the $60.
But I do remember, I can't remember how long ago it was, but I do remember you saying, did you not hear the other 4 people read that? And that's not harsh criticism. That's
No.
why are you not paying attention?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I want people to know. You're not going to go in there and get beat up. That's not how this works. You're going to get good constructive criticism. It's the way it should be.
It's after the workout when Linda and I call each other, go, oh my God, did you hear that? No, we don't do that. We don't do that.
We are not. We both, being in this business for as long as we have experienced criticism. We have experienced the pressure. And it's something that I know I make a conscious decision to not use with students because I don't feel that it helps you grow your talent.
No, until you're fully working, then you can get beat up.
Right.
But it's not supportive in my opinion.
No.
So we are extremely supportive. If you take a workout and you're like, oh, you're mean to me, then you shouldn't do voiceovers. Because
I agree.
We're
not mean. No.
I know. Just wait till you get out there and actually do sessions with clients.
Yes.
Live clients.
Okay. I didn't like the way you said and. What?
Yeah.
Your D was not pronounced strongly enough.
Right.
And I remember when the light went off for me, I had gotten a job to read a narration in Alabama, which was a perfect fit. And it was right as the first harsh wave of COVID was over, and they were letting the high schools go back to play football. And it was a small town, had all this football pride. And as I read it and played it back, I had big tears in my eyes because I thought, I got it.
Isn't that wonderful?
I finally got this conversational thing they keep telling me about. I got it. I heard it. It was just me talking. It wasn't, come down to Alabama and we're going to do this. It was like down here in Bessemer, Alabama, We do this, we do. And I thought
Yeah.
that's what they wanted. And I finally did it. And that's when it turned the page. And it was after about the third workout, I think,
Mhm.
when that hit.
And
You started to
that's
improve pretty quickly.
Well,
that happens to me still to this point. If I'm in the middle of like an anthemic read or something with a lot of build and America or whatever, by the end of it, sometimes I actually get chills. And I go, okay, this is going well. If
That
it's
was
giving me
good.
chills, it'll give them chills. And it's a cool feeling.
It
Oh, yeah.
is.
That
It
you're
really
sitting in
is.
a 6x7 padded room giving yourself chills.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah, but it's fun. It really is fun.
We have a fun, and I don't know if you've ever talked about this, Troy, but we do a mock audition night.
Where we make believe we do auditions, but we don't really do it.
Every 6 weeks, probably 8 weeks, we have one night where students compete in a friendly way against each other, but we give everyone the same script, just like as if you had an audition. And then it is timed, usually 10 to 15 minutes that you have to record it, give us your best take, and send it to JJ.
Right.
So you not only get a chance to feel the pressure of a timed audition, but you also get your audio critiqued, what your room sounds like, what your editing is like of the audition. And for us, when we play them back, everybody reading the same script is fascinating for us because we're seeing and hearing all these different interpretations of the same script. It's so cool.
It's amazing.
Right.
And the first night that we did the mock auditions, everybody sent them to me, and Linda and I had never done this before. Yeah. And I played all 6 auditions, and we both sat there looking at each other going, oh, damn, I don't know. Do you? It's hard to be on the other side.
Yeah.
And then we started learning. Well, for me, it was a learning experience saying, so this is what the people we send these auditions to on a daily basis go through.
Yeah.
They have something very specific in their mind. And we both, Linda and I, think very much alike in that respect. But when we hear the right one, we hear the right one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it also teaches the people the joy of winning and the agony of defeat.
Yes.
Yeah. And my feet are definitely in agony right now.
But some of the best ones are when the actor truly connects with the copy and interprets it as real and heartfelt to themselves as possible. And that's the hardest thing to achieve as a voice
yourself,
actor.
sir, have won quite a few of those auditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your new Chevy is on its way.
Fortunate.
I remember the turning point for Troy. I remember there was a few auditions where all of a sudden I was like, whoa, his version of this has blown everyone else out. And it was because you were truly connecting with the script.
That's when we asked him not to come back anymore. Everybody was getting ticked off.
Yeah.
Is Troy going to be at the mock audition? Yes, I'm not going.
The appreciation I could see too from your side is that when you win a job, now you know what it's like. I mean, sometimes I underappreciate. When I got this thing a couple weeks ago down in Texas for this sausage and bacon thing, and I went back and looked on Voices, there were 132 auditions.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know when there's agencies, sometimes there's 5 agencies to one client, and there may be 300 auditions. I get that, but I was pretty doggone humbled, looking at the number of auditions, and it really gets humbling, I guess, when you guys just even with 6 people go, you've been winning jobs all your lives or all your career over a lot of people, and that's a pretty big deal. I mean,
it is.
There's a lot of people trying to do this.
It also shows you how specific what they have in their mind is. To be able to pick one out of 132, they knew what they wanted when they went in. When they heard it, they hired you.
Right.
You were the right everything.
Right.
And with that comes the lesson about don't overdo the auditions. And I've been doing this a couple of years, and I still overdo the auditions. And I'm going back because I didn't like the way I did this sentence and that. No, they're going to know in the first 20 seconds whether they like you or not.
Right.
Well, that wasn't a strong enough ending. They're not going to get to the ending.
Right. Exactly.
But it's hard.
You could have a situation like I had where I wound up booking a national spot, and it turned out that they had initially gone to the pay-to-plays and had listened to like 500 people on the various ones. And then they went to the talent agents, and that's when I got brought in. And I get this spot, I book this spot, 30 minutes worth of work. I go into the city and I say to the producer, what was it about me that made you choose me? And he's like, I don't know. It just sounded good. And I was like, okay, I'm
Right
leaving.
on.
And $50,000 later, okay, well, I'm glad I sounded good. So sometimes I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
There
like,
is no reason.
but you know, what the way I look at it is you practice to be competitive. You work on your craft so you can compete at the higher levels. The more that you practice, now you're going to be considered for the bigger jobs. And somebody's going to win the job, you know? But if you half-ass it, or you're just like, oh, I'm just going to piece together my own thing and I don't need to get training and everything, you're not going to be competitive. There's too many of us out there doing this.
You'll be competitive in the sewer.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you will be. I mean, unfortunately, there's all kinds of $5 and $10 voiceover work from overseas, and you can do that from now on, but you're going no further. And that's what I want to encourage people. You don't want that. You don't want to be doing that. You want to learn and do the right thing. What's some of the free stuff they can start out with you guys? I know you've got a guide out or something online that they can download.
We have an initial download guide. We have an initial guide that you can download that's free, but our biggest free resource, honestly, is our podcast.
Yeah.
People have said that they don't even have to take lessons with us. They just listen to the podcast because we tell them everything.
Once you listen to all 84 of them, you pretty much can work.
Yeah, the 84th went out today.
I remember when I started listening, I was bush hogging or mowing. Some people don't know what a bush hog is, but I was mowing my pastures.
They don't
and
make very good pets,
I put the
Troy.
earbuds in, and I think I could be wrong, JJ. I think it was during your hiatus because I jumped in on the current episodes.
Right.
And Linda was talking about you were out, and I think she had a couple people in, maybe sit in some. And so I backed all the way up and started over. And at first I thought, this guy, I don't know about him. He's a piece of work, you know. And the more I listened, and it just kept drawing me in, and and you guys really play off each other so well on there because it's the voice of reason and the voice of let's have a little fun. Yeah, let's have a little fun with this. Come on. And it's great. It works. It works really well.
We didn't want
it
it
even
to be
works
just a normal back and forth. So, Linda, what are we going to talk about today? We didn't want that. Right. And so I'm a little nuts. Yes, I like to have fun with things, but I think it also shows the people that this is how you have to be if you want to do the voiceovers well. You have to be able to let go at any time and look like a fool. Right. And I do that very well, especially when I'm in the kitchen or in the bedroom, But yeah, no.
I don't want to hear about that.
No. Please. I meant getting into bed.
Okay, I was like, you're like my brother. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the term, let go. Let go.
It really is.
Pull back and let go. I thought, how do I do both at the same time?
Yeah.
Pull back and let go.
You'll figure it out.
Yep.
You'll figure it out.
The other things, going back to the sessions with the bigger directors and producers and things like that, we also teach you to be able to switch gears. Because 1 out of 10, when you audition for something and you book it, you'll get to the session. I always take the audition I got sent in out and I listen to it a couple of times. Then everybody gets on the phone and I go, so do you want the same kind of timing and read as the audition? Oh, no. We're going completely different. And I went, okay. What are we going to do? Well, you're going to be Elmer Fudd today. And I'm going, okay. Oh, wow. But be prepared to be able to go from what's locked in your mind to something completely different.
We work with our students because we have a third coach, Alyssa Jason, who's in acting. She's got more of an acting background because that has been her life, producing and writing and directing. And she's like multifaceted. But like one of the latest demos that JJ just edited, that student was with all three of us. And it created a wonderful combination of elements that JJ was able to mix because it's three different perspectives. And it worked really well. I think that's really what makes us unique.
And the funny thing is, I think there were 6 spots on her demo. And I think 2 of them came from each of us.
Really? Wow.
I think so.
That's neat.
So it's just interesting how that works. One, I don't know, somebody got these people to relax and just let go of it. And some of the nuances that are going on now are just incredible. And we teach, gosh, everything from how to do billing and taxes. And
the master
people always
class
say
will
to me,
talk
"Oh, you
about
do
those things.
voiceovers? That sounds really easy." Well, it's not. There's a lot to know. There's a lot to learn. It's like
It's a
becoming a
business.
nurse. It's going to take a while,
Yeah, I thought being home all day full time, I would easily be caught up every day. I could get this stuff done. I
Oh,
was
no.
getting it done somehow before, but
No.
I look up
No.
and it's 4:00 in the afternoon, and I'm like, oh, crap, I've got 8 more auditions left.
Yeah.
You know what? And I have been going at it all day. But I guess when you focus on it, you're trying to get the auditions done. You've got the work you got to get out. You're trying to think, I got to take an hour here for marketing and my social media stuff and whatever.
Right.
Next thing you know, the day's gone. So it's amazing how busy you can be, even if you're not overly busy.
Yes.
Quote unquote working.
Yes.
It's very easy to, like, the time just flies. You could be working till midnight and not even realize it.
Well,
Because there's always something that has to be done.
Last night at 5:00, I got 4 minute-and-a-half long things for a hospital that are animated, and they have scratch tracks on them from some English guy with the biggest lungs I've ever heard in my life, because he never breathes. And he does the read, and I read against him on Pro Tools. And they sent me 4 of them, and he said, "I really don't need these till tomorrow." And that was his voice went up at the end, which means,
like,
"Can you do them tonight?" It was already 6:00. So I spent 2 hours doing those. And in the middle of that, I got sent another script from the Air Force, one of my better clients. And he said, "I really don't need this till tomorrow." And I went, "Oh, God." So I got out of the studio at 10:00 last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
I try not to work weekends just because at this point, it's been in the business for a long time.
Yep.
But Saturday, I had a client reach out to me and say, I need a huge favor. I'm in Vegas. The live show got canceled because of COVID. We're going to virtual, but I need it for Monday morning. Could you possibly record it tomorrow, Sunday? And I'm like, okay,
Sure.
So you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Never say no. You never know what it'll turn into.
I've heard that all my life. People say, well, if I just had my own business, I wouldn't have to work this hard.
Oh,
yes, you will.
No.
You're going to work harder.
Good point.
Well, they say you pick what, like 12 hours of the day you work as opposed to, you just get to pick.
You spread them out. I did leave at 10:30 and ran to the grocery store and got some stuff in town and came back. I can do that now where I couldn't before, but I'm going to make it up later.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's almost as bad as a full-time job. Did you have any PTO for the time you were gone? So now you will work 4 more hours. Okay.
So how are you enjoying it, Troy?
I love it. It's the odd thing is I feel physically better. Is that not unusual? I think I think my blood pressure dropped, to probably normal by coming home, and I feel better. I still get up early and, hit things early and do what I got to do. But my wife is also home now during the week. She's having to learn she can't make noise. But that's the only thing. I said,
let me make a recommendation.
If you're going to go,
buy 3 dachshunds.
Yeah.
Like I have. Well, and then good luck with that.
I got 2 dogs in the backyard, and one is a boxer that loves to bark at anything that moves. So I bought one of those vibrating collars and put on her so it vibrates when she barks. And I'm almost there. Today,
jokes about that one, Troy.
Yeah. Well, today she's only
wear
barked
that while
once,
you're recording, okay?
No. But so far, so good.
The calla lilies are in bloom again.
But back to business.
Oh, yes.
You guys also do the packages or individual coaching blocks. And I did the same thing. I coached with all 3. I saw a big benefit from that and the different input. I learned some very key things from Melissa that applied to what I picked up from you guys. And it all, like you said, it all tied together. It really, really helped. And that's when the light bulb went off for me, I think, is after I finished that. It really makes a difference.
We all say the same thing, but in different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes one person saying it one way, you go, oh, but the other two, it just didn't.
Sink in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why some of those great... that's why some of those great reads that we send in for an audition don't go anywhere, because that guy may not have wanted to hear it that way. And like you were saying earlier, interpretation, they got 100 things to listen to.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to book a package at voiceover.guru, I have to remember, I get that mixed up.
Here's my advice, though. If you're brand spanking new and you've never done a voiceover, I really encourage you to do our starter package, because we have an online course for people that are not on Long Island. And this way you can learn the basics from breathing to, diction, to what we mean when we say change your inflections, to emphasis. Yeah. Because this way, once you learn those basics and you can do it on your own, it's not going to be as difficult for us to coach you, because you're going to understand what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you come to us brand spanking new without knowing anything, we're going to have to at some point give you some basics, because we don't just start coaching you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
and that's that's a downloadable thing, right?
It's the online class.
It's all, it's great. It's basic. It's just absolutely wonderful to get started.
Also, it includes, the one-to-one coaching as well. There's a couple of different packages. Right. But if you go to voiceover.guru on our main page, just scroll down, you'll see our online classes,
right. You'll
our
see
online courses.
And they can book the workouts right there too.
Right? Yeah, we have a separate page for the online voiceover workouts, which are very popular. So I have to say,
good.
Yes,
that's good.
We've been told that they are famous now. And I think it's because you get 2 coaches or sometimes 3 coaches for $60.
I think that's the deal. I wish I had learned more of the lingo up front. And JJ, you can probably relate to this. Early in my one of my orders, the guy said, "Hey, do I get a couple of pickups with that?" And I said, "For $25? Hell, I can't even buy a pickup for that. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I'll drop something. You
just
pick it up.
Just because I'm a hillbilly, you don't get a pickup, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. That terminology.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And I still occasionally will hit something I'm not positive about and have to research it. It's not often, but it'll be something maybe not mentioned very often. I had one the other day. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, I should know what that is. And I had to dig to find it, but it happens. And I would have loved to have done that. I wish I'd have done that earlier.
You can always call me.
Yeah, I do.
Call me.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'll tell you. We'll tell some jokes. We'll go have dinner, and then you can go fix it.
That works.
Yes,
that works.
Yes,
that works.
Yes.
Hey, there was some other big news that happened a few weeks ago.
What?
Linda put a ring on that finger. Is what I saw. How about that?
I got a ring put on that finger. Yes, I did.
I know. Is your hand heavier now?
A little bit.
Okay,
a little bit.
Good.
I had a student reach out to me today. And he goes, "Were you guys joking, or did you actually get engaged?" I'm like, "Why would I joke about getting engaged? Got engaged. That's the way it is."
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It was good.
So we kind of walked through the stuff they can do online. We walked through the workshops. We talked a little bit about the blocks of individual stuff you can buy down the road.
Right.
One of the things that thrilled me with you guys is I know you care about what you do. And I have coached with other people, a couple. And I could tell this was before I came to you guys.
Oh, okay.
And I was on my route. And
who is she?
I won't name names, but one was pretty technically good, but there was no follow-up later. Like I figure a week later, they'd say, are you going to schedule again or or you did this or that? I thought nothing. So that made you think, well, they didn't care.
Interesting.
And and the other was more of it was a workshop type thing with 6 or 8 people, and you still get the emails every couple of weeks from them, but there's no personal touch.
Yeah.
But I can tell you guys really care that you want to get your students to a point and see them go. And I remember the term you used a couple times, fly little bird, get out of the nest, go, go to work.
Yes.
You're ready, go to work.
Yes.
But you don't tell them that till they're ready. And I appreciate that.
Oh, no.
I think that's awesome.
No.
We truly do care. And I guess it helps that we're not a school, because we have our own voiceover lives. But the fact is, we've had our successes, and there's stages of a career. And it's at the point, at least for me anyway, where auditioning for me is like, I have to do it, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, I need to book that huge job. I get more passion now out of helping someone like you find your voice and realize your goals, because we don't charge a lot of money. So we definitely do this to help people, but it's more like a mentorship. I think we try to do that.
Right.
So we don't just don't throw you out there.
Not in it to make the quick buck.
No.
Yeah, that's
we're still working.
Key word.
We're still working, and
right.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten demos from another place that does the 3-week, oh my God, you're done, here's your demo voiceover package for $5,000. And they tell me they took that course, and I went, great, send me your demo. And they send it, and the demo is like the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And so I call them up and I say, okay, this is great. This is fantastic. Let's play a game. I'm sending you 2 pieces of copy. I need it back in 30 minutes, edited and in time. Go. And they send it back, and it's just awful. I mean, it's just, they have no idea how to edit. And it's over time, and the read is just terrible. And I call them back and I say, so how long did it take you to get your demo done? He said, well, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. And I said, but I need it in 30 minutes, not 4 or 5 days. How many directors did you have?
Right.
4? No, I'm sorry. That's just not real life. And
you need to be able to reproduce what it is you do on your demo instantly.
Right.
You know, it's someone can put all the whistles and bells and make you sound fantastic, but if you can't perform it, who cares?
Yeah. Right. That's where I draw the line. If you can't reproduce what's on your demo, you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Because when you do that, your demo gets to a client, not me, and the client hires you and you're awful. Mm-hmm. That client will never call you again because you wasted their time.
JJ and I are really honest with the demos, and we kind of argue on stuff because I'll have one opinion about a talent and he'll have another opinion and be like, not ready.
We don't really argue.
Not ready. And you know what I mean.
Names,
yeah.
I kind of like that.
We don't agree all the time. And then
sometimes I'm ready to throw in the towel.
Right. And I'm like, let's just try one more time. Let's try this type of read. Let's have Alyssa work with this person.
And that's what we suggested. And we started doing that. Yeah. And by gosh, the light went on like it did for you. It took a little longer. Mm-hmm. But, in the beginning, it was just like, oh, my God.
It's never going to happen for this person.
It's not that you're bad. It's just that you've never done this before at all. And I don't know how you're going to get from here to here. But, some of the people who really are taking this as a profession and really want to do it right are saying, I understand that it could take 6 months to a year to get good enough. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I take a big sigh of relief and go, thank goodness we don't have to have you ready.
That's the smart approach.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a marathon.
And when they do say that, they always end up getting better faster.
Mm-hmm. Well, they set realistic expectations for themselves.
Right. 2034, I think you'll be ready.
Yeah.
The thing that I run into a lot with people that have just started or they think they're further along than they are is they like to deliver not raw audio. They want to send you, they send auditions out. And sometimes I go out and buy from some people if I want to do something different on my introduction on my podcast or if I'm doing some little funny personal project, at home. And they'll send me this over-processed thing that I can do nothing with.
Right.
Because once you scramble those eggs, they're scrambled. I can't unscramble them.
That's a good reference.
They can't produce even the raw audio. And that's scary. So you got to learn, you got to be somewhat, you ain't got to be totally technical, but you've got to be pretty decent with your audio. You got to
be able to turn it on when you really need it. And
your room has to sound good. Your room has to be quiet and your mic, and because, without a good room, forget it.
I was working, just an example for the newbies out there with their microphones. This person has a microphone with no bass roll off. And I was working on the demo and I kept hearing boom, 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 and mouth noises, and the P's were very plosive, even though they weren't plosive. It was just the bass. Mm-hmm. So during a lesson, we shared screens, and I showed her how to set up a little track with a little EQ on it to roll off the bass a little bit, because her microphone didn't have the roll off. I had to buy a box for mine, $700 to push bass roll off, because I don't like doing it on Pro Tools. But
so you had more of a technical lesson.
Yes, we had a full technical lesson. We did not do any voiceovers today.
Interesting.
And it worked out really well. Mm-hmm. But it's fun. I mean, it's fun. You did the right thing. It's scary as heck to give up your job and
it's scary,
go full time. I think
when your gut says go, you better go.
Yeah.
I'm doing some podcast for a guy in Florida. He's some kind of construction place, and I'm interviewing these construction people all over the country that own big companies and whatever. Cool. And it's really fun, and it's a certain set of questions. And I talked to a gentleman this week. He's 82 years old, and probably one of the smartest guys I've ever talked to. It was just amazing. Listen to him, how he analyzes people when he hires people and all the things he goes through. But he said, you know, you can have all the talent, all the determination and all this and this, but if you just don't go out and do it, it's never going to happen. You got to try. You got to gamble. You got to go. And I said, I'm glad he said that this week. It made me feel
and
better.
Personality has a lot to do with it too. You have to be easy and fun to work with. And if you go in with the attitude of, this is a game, you're going to challenge me and I'm going to win. And that's what I go in with every time. It's a game. Let's get to what you want and what you hear.
Right. And you got to please them 100%.
You were talking about 82-year-old. There was when I lived in Florida, this was 25 years ago, I used to compete with a guy, I won't say his name, a wonderful man. But I as far as I know, he was like 70 back then. And I did an audition 2 weeks ago for a 60 to 70-year-old sounding. So I gave it a little bit, whatever. And I called the guy back after a couple of days and I said, did you make a decision? He said, yeah, this guy got it. And I went, you mean from Florida? And he said, yeah. And I said, he's got to be 114 by now. I lost out to a guy who's like 100 years old. Still sitting there. He's glued to the chair.
But he was more authentic for that age group.
He was. Yeah. So I was glad about that one. I'm not 70 yet. So But you never know. You never know.
Let me ask this, because you both have been doing this a while. You both did this when it was you had to go to the studio. You had to go you couldn't do this stuff at home. Which one was better or worse, or why, or is there a better or worse?
Well, I think that there's pros to not having to go to studios, because honestly, up here in New York, it's a lot of travel, and that became a pain. It's probably the only good thing that's come out of COVID is that now casting directors and sessions have gone remote. But it was nice to see people, but I like the fact that I can make more money in a shorter amount of time from my house or my studio than having to spend a day going someplace to make money. So cost-wise and revenue-wise, I think it's better now. But.
And I feel that, well, I lived in Fort Lauderdale when I was red hot, and I drove 85,000 miles in 1 year between Palm Beach and Miami Beach. Just going from session to session to session, back and forth to Palm Beach. Ford would call, we got to change, back to Miami Beach. And the thing that I think that has given me a little bit of a leg up, and I wish that the people of today would have to do this, they don't know how easy they have it. You know, back in my day, the machines were as big as a Volkswagen. And you'd walk into the studio, there'd be 9 people sitting there and the engineer, and you had to, look nice and get there through the Fort Lauderdale traffic. But, if you did a spot in 61, I'm sorry, it didn't work. You got to redo it. So over the years, I got this interior clock that would scare people. 59.8. And they go, how did you do that? I went, because I don't want to read it again.
Right. I used to be a lot better at that too, because of necessity.
Right.
But now without it, I'm not as good.
Understanding the different types of editing and what that side of it goes through.
Right.
And unfortunately, when we went from the studio to us working at home, everybody out there got a break, because now we're doing all the darn production. They're still doing the end, the end part of it with the music and the effects and everything. But, and the pay didn't go up.
Yeah, true.
But I do enjoy working at home. I do miss people too.
There's opportunity. Really, we just have so many more opportunities, though.
Yeah.
Because, I had to move to New York to get the big stuff. I had to physically leave everything behind to access it. And now you could live anywhere. And make your 6 figures.
Even Cleveland.
So I do appreciate that aspect.
I've heard JJ talk about missing the things where you had 3-4 people on one spot and you're live interacting.
Oh,
yeah.
That would be fun.
One day I was sitting with Lonnie Anderson, Burt Reynolds, Daryl Gilley, Dave Corey. Daryl and Dave
it's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but man, sometimes they would hire the circle of people just to watch us have fun. They knew they were going to have 2 hours of just being on the floor.
Yeah.
We have
That's
small versions of that here at the studio because I work out of a production house. And so sometimes we'll get some multiple stuff, or we did some on-camera stuff right before the holidays. And it was fun to work off of other people.
Yes.
But it doesn't happen very often.
No.
Yeah.
My friend Bob Lebeskus used to write a lot of two-person spots, and we did so many spots together, and they were always hilarious.
I had a lot of fun doing those in the workouts.
Yes.
You guys usually throw one of those in there
days.
now and then, and for the other people, and I know it was really frustrating sometimes for JJ. You'd finish your sentence, and the other person's like about a second and a half before they'd start, and you're like, "No, you got to listen, you got to jump in. It's got to be natural,
Right.
And it does. I mean, until you do that, you don't realize how quick you got to go.
Exactly.
But it's really fun.
And then I had one young man. I was doing a sandals spot with him, and we were on Source Connect, and there was a delay. And this is just a young kid who just got in the business, and I was trying to be fatherly. And after the first take, he said, "Mr. Wilson, could you, kind of pick up your cues?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And he said, "Well, there's just, you're waiting too long to come in with your line." And I went, "No, you are, because there's a delay on the internet." So,
it
and a
happens.
little whippersnapper. I'll call the old guy and he'll beat you up. But
so here's a loaded question. And I've run into this the last couple of weeks because I have, like I said, I was doing this demo thing where people could submit some stuff, and we were listening to samples of newer people. And do you ever have to just go, look, this just isn't for you?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have. I mean, my advice, sorry, I have to share a story. So a couple months ago, I had a guy just show up at my studio. And he's like, "Oh, I've been wanting to come here for years. And when you were back in Plainview, and I never had the guts." And he says, "But I want to tell you one thing. I've never finished anything in my life."
Oh,
I'm like,
oh.
"Okay."
Oh, I remember this.
Right? And I went, "Okay." And he goes, "Oh, and another thing, I hate to read." I go, "Well, voiceover, it's pretty much all you're doing is reading things." But no, when people come in and they like audition, or they come in and they read something for me, because I have people read before they come and train, just to make sure. If they don't have it, I'm just honest, and I say, "You're not letting go. I feel like you're too rigid. I think you should go take some acting classes and some improv classes, and then come and see me."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always my advice. But that's usually what stops people, because these days it isn't about a pretty voice. It's about performance.
Right.
So it's never
your voice doesn't really matter these days. The quirkier it is, the better.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the thing. Just don't do demos for people who don't have a prayer. Say, you know what? You're not ready for a demo.
You're not ready. Exactly.
Well, you're just taking their money at that point.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah. If they're not ready, they're not ready.
And it's hard. And it's hard when we do the mock audition night. I absolutely feel terrible I think Linda and I had enough a couple of mock audition nights ago with awarding it to this person and that person, and we could see the sadness in everybody's eyes.
I know.
So on the third round, we decided that everybody did it perfectly.
Yeah.
And they all won.
So we felt bad, which would not happen in the real world.
Wouldn't it? But in the real world, that might happen, but then they would send it up to the next person in line and the agency or the client himself to make the choice. So we decided we were sending it upstairs. And I was going to let Janine listen to all of them and pick. But it's really hard to say, "I'm sorry, you didn't get it."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There's one other important thing that people starting out, you need to realize that you need to be comfortable with technical, and you need to be willing to learn and work on that end, because you can't get around it unless you're independently wealthy and you can hire studios to do everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is, you have to ask yourself from the get-go, am I willing to go through this? Because setting up a booth, focusing on audio, the quality, the deadness of the room, it is darn frustrating, you know? And so it's something that I had a student, she was great vocally, she was really good with performance, but she refused to learn how to use anything. And
that's not going to do her any good.
I know. She was like, "I need you to hold my hand while I do this." I'm like, there's no hand holding. There's no crying in voiceover. There's no hand holding in voiceover. And that's the other thing too, where I said, A, you're not ready for a demo, and B, I don't think this business is for you. So,
and 3, I was never very good at filing.
But yeah, we're honest. We're honest.
We are
And I
honest.
don't like to read. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's good.
He was so honest about it. I appreciate his honesty, but oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it gave me a good chuckle.
Wow.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, we're approaching the 45-minute mark. I don't want to keep you
Holy
guys much
mackerel.
longer. Yeah,
Wow.
it's fun. We're just kicking
Time
the
flies
can.
when you're having
Just
fun.
kicking the
It
can.
does. It
How
does.
about some last minute advice for these folks that are out here on our my podcast, the VO Life, and the VO Life page? A lot of new people just on there because they've heard about voiceover and they're not positive what it is. Give them just a handful of advice. Next steps.
Linda,
First off,
become a dentist.
do something else. No. Come to a workout. Try it. Just try it.
And
you
don't
don't
be scared.
Yeah.
Just
You
go.
don't need a microphone. As long as you have a laptop or a computer that's working and the internet is decent, we can
all you
still
need.
hear you.
Yep.
Just read something out loud in front of people that you do not know.
Mhm.
And not your family that says you're great. It's got to be people that are in the business. Just take a workout and start from there. That would be my advice.
Yeah. And listen to what Troy has to say on his podcasts.
Yeah.
Because he's been through all of this now. He has quit his job and making a full-time living at doing voiceovers. So
Which is so exciting.
I don't
It is
consider
exciting.
Troy a student anymore. I consider him an adversary.
He's
And I know
He's
where
a
you
colleague.
freaking live.
But Troy, your experience and your story is perfect for people to learn from because they can hear how you went from point A to now point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have this silly belief in the back of my mind as to certain things you have to have done one of these or some of these to be able to do what we're doing. You were either, if you were in the corporate world all your life, maybe you were in HR and you were a trainer and you presented and you talked in front of people a lot.
Right.
Maybe you were I know a young guy that's a pastor that is an excellent voiceover. He's because he speaks to people all the time. He's
Mhm.
used to that.
Put your hand
if
on
you-
your radio.
Exactly.
Feel the
I'll
power
sell you a
of
brand new
Jesus.
Chevy.
I'm Ernest Ainsley Hour.
Oh my gosh. I remember him. Oh, can you say baby? Baby. I remember him.
Or
My
if you
gosh.
were maybe a announcer at a strip club in your younger years, that would
There
also
you
give
go.
you the accreditation.
Whatever it takes.
Next up on the main
Yeah.
stage, we've got Aurora. Yes, okay.
God.
You may can get the announcer out of him. Maybe,
No, I told him you
but-
should keep doing that. What's your address? But yes, or somebody like me who spent most of school in the hallway because I was being an idiot in class.
right. If you're
I
a
didn't
total
care.
if you're a total introvert and you don't like talking to people and you don't have a creative bone in your body, that you can try this and you might be good at it, but it's going to be harder. I think.
Yes.
You just got to work a
Yeah.
lot harder.
Yeah.
But if you've got that natural ability, and it's not like Linda said, it's not your voice, it's do you have that ability to just relax and talk and
Yeah.
can,
Right.
and one of the things that I did that helped me a ton, and I tell people all the time, is go get something and read it. Go sit in a room by yourself and read out loud all the freaking time and learn to read ahead.
Yes.
And it really
Yes.
helps a lot. It's a
Yes.
trick to it once you get it. And I catch myself sometimes if I'm doing a long form, I'll accidentally get too far ahead and I'll say one of the words that's in the
Yes.
next sentence.
Yes.
It's funny.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I like, how does my mind know that? But
And
I
when
can
you
always
become a-
tell when
I'm sorry.
somebody isn't practicing
Oh,
because they'll
absolutely.
come in and I'll be like, your reading is like they're making mistakes. And
Yeah.
just 30 minutes a day, not even 15 minutes a day, read aloud anything. Just
Mhm.
read aloud. And you're going to have incredible improvement in something you can work on by yourself.
Yep.
You
Like
know, you don't
Behind
need
the
a
Green
coach.
Door. You could read that.
What?
Behind the Green Door.
What's that?
Well,
What is
here's
that?
here's the dialogue of the book. Ooh, ah, oh, ooh, ah.
Let's not bring his podcast down into the gutter. JJ, please.
Rated X podcast.
So, oh, my gutters are full. That's not what this podcast is
Yeah,
about, is it?
no.
Okay. All right. I got leaves. I don't know what to do.
Well, since I've been kicked out of all the workshops, though, no, seriously, on if there is a Tuesday afternoon and there's an open spot here and there, and I tell people all the time, I'll jump in because I need to be tuned up sometimes. And what I notice is if I go a week without getting anything favorited in an audition on voices, something's wrong.
Your career is over.
Well,
That's the way you feel.
I've
I used to
hit
beat myself.
I've hit a rut. I've done.
Yeah.
I'm reading, or I'm stabbing, or I'm doing something wrong,
Yeah.
and I said I need to go do. I need to get some feedback.
Wait
I
till-
need to
wait
brush
till-
up.
Wait till a producer tells you, I don't know, your microphone sounds funny today.
Oh,
That's going to throw you off for 2 weeks. And you're going to go to,
I dread that.
I go to Guitar Center and I buy like 9 microphones. I bring them all home and I test them all and I get a new microphone. And then the guy calls and goes, never mind, it was my speakers.
Oh, well, I was
We're not
telling
paranoid
Linda.
at all. Us
I
people.
was telling Linda this morning, I decided I tried to move my monitors outside and it worked okay, but then I kept finding myself in here and I hate headphones.
Yes.
So the monitors do so much better. So I moved them back. Well, then I'm trying to do an audition and I cannot get anything on my DAW. I'm yelling at the mic. I got a straight line. I'm like, what the crap? So I restart the computer, plug everything, unplug everything, start again, nothing. I'm like, crap. I keep looking at it and I go, what's that little, isn't that supposed to be a red light right there? Oh, I forgot to push the phantom power switch.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, we've all done
That's
that.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, technically I've learned a lot.
Well,
I've
when we just
recorded a
connected,
7
you couldn't hear me, but you said you had plugged your headphone into the wrong
I
jack.
had my headphone plugged in the auxiliary jack.
So
Yeah.
that'll happen.
I
We've been
recorded
thinking
a-
about, and we've talked about it, and we'll probably do it this year, of doing a daytime workout.
Oh, neat. Yeah,
Because
that'll
right
be
now they're
fun.
just on Wednesday.
But we're going to do it at
evenings.
night.
Right, a daytime workout at night.
Right.
Just
But
for daytime people.
That's an option. Yeah, if there's people that have
I mean,
jobs
we're
at night
home.
or they can't. you
We're
know.
home.
Yeah.
She's in the studio. I'm here.
Yeah,
So
we
why
probably
not?
should
Why
look
not?
a
That
little
would
more
be fun.
seriously at that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That would
Sounds
be
good.
fun. Yeah, I recorded a 7-minute script the other day without being in record. Got through about 3.5 minutes of it. I looked over and I went, oh, come on.
There's no
Come
squiggly lines.
on. You know, if you hit record just for a second, it makes a little tiny line.
Yeah.
And then it stops.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And I'm just reading
Double
away and damn, that was a good read. Oh, no.
This is how we learn.
It
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. And
Hey,
it doesn't go away.
I want to thank y'all very much. I know this is a big chunk of time in your work day. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
please. I got nothing
and,
going on. My career's over.
Yeah, we know.
Let
And
me
hopefully
beat
everybody
myself.
out there that's listening will follow up and jump on your site if nothing else, and then follow along. And like Linda said, go to a workshop. Yes, you're going to be nervous. You haven't done it before.
Yep.
You'll get over it once you do it one time, and you will love it, and you'll want to go back. You'll
Yep.
have a lot of fun, and you'll get great feedback.
Thank you.
And just want to encourage people, go get the training. Just
Yeah.
please go get the
I
training.
know. Don't
It's what
skimp
it's
on
all
that.
about.
No, and
And
don't.
we're not
don't-
saying that because we're coaches. It's just
Right.
genuinely don't skimp.
Just be careful. Do your research on who
Yes,
you
get the
use.
right
You don't have to
training.
use us.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if they say
Exactly.
$7,000, run the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Please.
Exactly.
Thank you for having us, Troy. This was really nice.
Yeah, this
Well,
is great.
awesome.
Troy. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This was the VO Life. It's over. For now. Yay! Oh, aren't you all so glad?
You've been listening to The VO Life with Troy Holden. Check back for more episodes each week and catch up on what you've missed also. This is for you, those just living that VO life. Thanks for listening and join us again.